In 1903, a brilliant philosopher named Otto Weininger wrote that women were either beautiful or intelligent, never both. Fast forward 120 years, and science has completely demolished his theory. But here's the twist: they discovered something he never could have imagined. There is a connection between attractiveness and intelligence, just not the one Weininger thought. What we found flips everything on its head. Let's break down the Weininger paradox. So who was Otto Weininger? Picture this: Vienna, 1903. A 23-year-old philosophy student publishes a book called Sex and Character that becomes one of the most controversial works of the early 20th century. Weininger's central claim: that women existed on a spectrum. You could be beautiful and shallow, or intelligent and plain, but never both. According to him, physical beauty and intellectual capacity were inversely related. The prettier you were, the dumber you had to be. Now, before you roll your eyes, yeah, this sounds ridiculous today, but here's the thing: Weininger wasn't some random misogynist. He was genuinely brilliant, influenced major thinkers like Wittgenstein, and his ideas shaped decades of psychological research. He was also deeply troubled. He died by suicide just months after publishing his book at age 23. But wait, what does that mean for modern science? Let's zoom out. Fast forward to the 1990s, researchers start doing something Weininger never could: actually measuring both attractiveness and intelligence with scientific rigor. They're expecting to find, well, maybe nothing, or perhaps confirmation that there's no real connection between how you look and how smart you are. Instead, they found something that would have blown Weininger's mind. Study after study started showing the same bizarre pattern. People rated as more attractive consistently scored higher on IQ tests. Not by a little bit, we're talking about significant correlations across thousands of subjects. The beautiful people weren't just getting by on their looks, they were legitimately smarter. Our hero in this story, Dr. Satoshi Kanazawa from the London School of Economics. In 2004, he published research that made everyone's head spin. Using data from over 17,000 people, he found that attractive individuals had IQ scores that were 10 to 15 points higher than average. For context, that's the difference between being in the 50th percentile and the 84th percentile of intelligence. Now here's what's actually happening, and this is where it gets wild. It's not that being pretty makes you smart, or being smart makes you pretty. The connection runs much deeper than that, straight into our evolutionary wiring. Think of it like this: both intelligence and physical attractiveness are what scientists call fitness indicators. They're signals that someone has good genes and would make a healthy mate. But here's the kicker: they're not separate systems, they're connected at the genetic level. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine your DNA is like a high-end sports car. The same engineering excellence that makes the engine powerful also makes the exterior sleek. Good genes don't just affect one thing, they affect everything: cognitive ability, facial symmetry, physical health, even personality traits like creativity and humor. They're all part of the same genetic package. This is what researchers now call general intelligence meeting general attractiveness. People with better overall genetic quality tend to be both smarter and more physically appealing. It's not two separate lotteries, it's one big genetic jackpot. After finally understanding this connection, I started wondering, what about the stereotypes? If attractive people are actually smarter, why do we have phrases like dumb blonde or assume the pretty girl in class isn't the smart one? Welcome to the mother of all cognitive biases. Our brains are literally programmed to make this mistake. It's called the beauty intelligence stereotype, and it works backwards from reality. We see someone who's very attractive, and our ancient lizard brain goes, this person already won the genetic lottery in the looks department. They can't also be smart, that would be unfair. It's like our brains are running on fairness software from 50,000 years ago. Back then, being both the strongest hunter and the smartest strategist might have made someone too powerful, too threatening to group dynamics. So we developed mental shortcuts that assume people can't be good at everything, but evolution doesn't care about our feelings of fairness. Now, before you start thinking this means we should judge people by their looks, hold up. This is where the Weininger paradox gets really interesting, and where Otto would have his mind completely blown. The correlations we're talking about are statistical trends across large populations. They tell us nothing about individuals. For every gorgeous genius, there are plenty of beautiful people who struggle academically. and plenty of brilliant minds who don't fit conventional beauty standards. The overlap exists, but it's not a rule you can apply to any single person. Plus, and this is crucial, our definition of attractiveness is heavily influenced by culture, media, and personal bias. When researchers measure attractiveness, they're often measuring how well someone fits current beauty standards, which are themselves shaped by all kinds of social factors that have nothing to do with genetic fitness. Here's where it gets even weirder. The Weininger paradox doesn't just apply to the connection between looks and brains. It shows up everywhere in human traits. Musical ability correlates with mathematical skills, athletic coordination correlates with spatial intelligence, sense of humor correlates with creativity. It's like some people really did win multiple genetic lotteries. But and here's the plot twist Weininger never saw coming: this pattern is changing. Modern research shows the beauty-intelligence correlation is actually getting weaker over time. Why? Because our environment is changing faster than our genes. In Weininger's era, your genetic potential was pretty much your destiny. Today, education, nutrition, healthcare, and technology can dramatically boost both cognitive performance and physical appearance regardless of your starting point. The kid who might have been labeled unattractive and slow in 1903 might be a successful, confident, well-groomed professional in 2024, thanks to modern dentistry, contact lenses, better nutrition, educational opportunities, and skincare that actually works. So yeah, now you know how the Weininger paradox actually works. Otto Weininger thought beauty and intelligence were opposing forces. Turns out, they're often allies, but not in the way he imagined, and not as rigidly as the data might suggest. The real paradox isn't that attractive people are smart or that smart people are attractive. The real paradox is that our brains are wired to believe these traits are mutually exclusive, even when the evidence shows they often go together. You're welcome. That's gonna cost you one subscribe or a comment below telling me which cognitive bias messes with your head the most. If you want to dive deeper into how our brains trick us about human traits, this video right here breaks down the halo effect and why first impressions are basically psychological warfare. Trust me, once you see how your brain makes these snap judgments, you'll never look at people the same way again.